Green flags in the air. It's time to let her eat as they head into turn number 1. And they go full song into turn number 1. Dustin Corbin going to fall right in line with the 17 machine of Joe Shepner. Now he's going to pull to the inside of him as a drag race down the back straightaway. Also, Dennis Guile makes it a 3-wide battle for that top spot. Off of turn number 4, Giles up on the top of the side of the racetrack. It will be Corbin, though, leading lap number 1. Corbin leads lap number 1. So we got one car slow on the racetrack. That's the 3K of Patrick Krob. He'll take his car off track as Corbin leads the field down the back chute into turn number 3. Joe Shepner trying to reel back in that 4T of Dennis Guile as that thing cooking on the top side of the racetrack. Shepner down low along with Kyle Shipley. Now Kyle Shipley going to dart to the outside and ride the cushion around turns 1 and 2. Guile and Shepner, they go side by side off of turn number 2. Give the advantage to Dennis Guile by about a tail tank as Shepner drops back down the inside, catfishing on the bottom side of the racetrack, trying to find some moisture and some speed. Dustin Corbin, your race leader, he's pulled away from this battle for that second spot as Guile still cannot clear the 17 machine of Shepner. Dennis Guile in that 4T car, a mainstay on USAC Southwest Sprint Car Series, trying to take that second spot away from Joe Shepner. Still can't quite do it on the top side of the racetrack. Kyle Shipley working his way behind both Dennis Guile and Joe Shepner. He's been high, he's been low, trying to figure out which line's the fastest in that 0G as Guile finally clears the 17. Shipley pulled right up to the tail tape, couldn't do anything with him. Big wiggle out of the 4T of Guile. Dennis Guile and Joe Shepner still side by side for that second spot with the brothers Shipley, Kyle and Josh rounding out your top 5, and they have pulled away from 6th place driver Tyler Most, the number 3 cars. They go single file behind them, but they're still side by side for this second spot. Dennis Guile finally clears the 17, but Shepner going to fight right back down the inside along with your points leader of Kyle Shipley, who now peeks his nose up underneath the 17 of Shepner. Shipley lost a little bit of momentum there off of turn number 2 that time, though. Allowed his brother Josh Shipley, the Prez, to work the top side of the racetrack, tries to diamond off that turn number 4 and reel in the tail tank of the 0G. Can't quite do anything with him as they work into turn number 1. It's Dustin Corbin already coming up to the tail end of the field, has Andy Soul and the 22 getting ready to put him 1 lap down. Corbin will take the bottom side of the racetrack as Soul works up top. Dennis Guile working the top side of the racetrack as well. And then it's Shepner and Shipley down low. And Josh Shipley up on the top side of the racetrack, pounding the cush going into turn number 1. Big run at his brother Kyle Shipley. Kyle Shipley, though, hangs on to that 4th spot for now. But here comes Josh Shipley back to the top side of the racetrack through turns 3 and 4. Though 2 white cars come off at turn number 4. It's going to be Kyle Shipley now darting to the top side of the racetrack, trying to reel in the 4T of Dennis Guile, who goes around the outside, the 22 of Andy Soul, to put him 1 lap down. Joe Shepner still in that 3rd position. The first car of the top 3 down on the bottom side of the racetrack. Kyle Shipley going to change up his line once again, moves down to the bottom side through turns 3 and 4. Dustin Corbin, full straightaway length advantage. He works his way off of turn number 4. Here as we have 10 laps in the books. Corbin, you're right now your current race leader. Then it's going to be Dennis Guile, Joe Shepner, Kyle Shipley, Josh Shipley, your top 5. Tyler Most is 6th. 7th is Colton Hardy. 8th is Rick Schumann. 9th, Colton Maroney, with Ryan Murphy rounding out your top 10 in the 7X. Dennis Guile working the high line off of turn number 2. With Joe Shepner still on the bottom side of the racetrack. Kyle Shipley seems to have lost a lot of grip in his race car in that 0G. We got one car up and over big time. That is your 2nd place running Dennis Guile in the 4T. Red flag will fly. 13 down, 12 to go. Green flag's back in the air. And Joe Shepner cannot get going, kind of stalled out by the 49 AZ of Carl Ackley. Josh Shipley was right on his back bumper. Kyle Shipley right on his back bumper. That's 0G. Now those cars come to life as they work off of turn number 4. It's going to be Dustin Corbin, then the lap car John Romero, with Schwader and Kyle Shipley running 2nd and 3rd. Tyler Most right now trying to make the most of this restart. He goes to the outside of Colton Hardy, trying to bring Josh Shipley with him as well in the number 2 machine. The 3-car Most to the outside of Hardy as Hardy fights back down the inside of him. Hardy will sneak right back past Tyler Most, picking that position off as Jason Schwader still having issues working his way around the 65X of John Romero. Now finally does clear John Romero in the 65X. So Joe Shepner clears him. Kyle Shipley going to do the same. Through turns 3 and 4, going to bring Colton Hardy and Josh Shipley with him. As the parachute has come out on the number 3 car of Tyler Most, trying to work the top side of the racetrack. Right now, the low groove seems to be the one that's cooking and booking here at Arizona Speedway. Kyle Shipley, though, he's going to live and ride by the top side of the racetrack. Hits the cushion. Yellow flag, though, will come out. Colton Maroney got a little airborne on the racetrack. Dustin Cormany hang on for his first main event win of the year. Green flags in the air. And Joe Shepner with a bit of a bobble off of turn number 2. Now Kyle Shipley sneaking down his inside. Tyler Most with a big issue off of turn number 2. Falls back 4 positions through the field as Cormany leads. It's going to be Kyle Shipley in second with Joe Shepner in third. Josh Shipley, Colton Hardy going to work the top side of the racetrack with Josh Shipley going all the way up to the cushion, trying to reel in that 17 of Joe Shepner. Can't quite do it. Turn number 2, Colton Hardy sneaks down to his inside. Battling for that 4th spot. It's the 25 of Hardy down low. The 2 of Josh Shipley up top. Off of turn number 4 they go. Give the spot to Hardy. Josh Shipley once again going to assault the top side of the racetrack as the top 4 drivers work the low line. Ronald Webster trying to sneak past the number 2 machine along with Dalen Pereira and the 21 machine. Off of turn number 4, Dustin Cormany has the race lead, but Kyle Shipley, he is closing in on the tail tank in a hurry as John Romero brings his car to the pits. Cormany with a strong run off of turn number 2, able to widen out his lead now with the 0G of Shipley. 5 laps to go this time by. 5 laps for Dustin Cormany, who started this race outside of row number 1. He's led since the drop of the green flag. Here he is working his way off of turn number 4 with your points leader, Kyle Shipley, trying to reel him in. Joe Shepner in the 3rd spot. Colton Hardy and Josh Shipley battling out for the 4th position as Josh Shipley has now moved down to the bottom side of the racetrack. Kyle Shipley once again with a little bit of an issue off of turn number 2. Car just seems to boggle down off of turn number 2 on the bottom side of the racetrack. Allows Joe Shepner to pull up to his tail tank. As they cross the stripe, Josh Shipley going to sneak to the inside of Colton Hardy. Looking into turn number 1, trying to take over that 4th spot. He'll do just that as Hardy trying to find a new line around the racetrack. The top line is not the line to use here tonight's ASCS Santan Ford Desert Sprint Car Series main event. Dustin Cormany right now holding a pretty line, catfishing around the bottom side of the racetrack. Turns 1 and 2 with just 2 laps to go. It's Cormany in first, Kyle Shipley, Joe Shepner, Josh Shipley, Colton Hardy. Your top 5, Ronald Webster just sneaked past Dalen Pereira in the 6th spot as the white flag's out for Dustin Cormany. Just one more time around, has a lap car, Carl Ackley right in front of him, kind of slowing up his progress off of turn number 2. They make contact. Carl Ackley makes contact with Cormany able to rebound, but here comes Kyle Shipley. One last chance off of turn number 4. Checkered flag in the air. The Ginger Ninja will be the 6th different driver to win in the 2019 Santan Ford ASCS Desert Sprint Car Series this season. And Dustin Cormany climbs out of the car. He is tonight's main event winner. Gets a big hug from his wife, Nancy, and his father, Cliff. Back in victory lane here at Arizona Speedway. Had an eventful last lap, did Dustin. Big hug from Josh Shipley. Kyle Shipley come home in second here tonight. Well, Dustin, you led this thing green to checker. Talked to you earlier in the pits. You said, I've been working on a lot of things on this race car, and you had her dialed in here tonight. You definitely weren't lying.
No, not at all. Chris Holloway, car owner, put his blood, sweat, and tears in this. Has worked his butt off. Marty Miller, I can't thank just HPS Racing enough. Anasazi Pools and Spas, just the night that our sponsors are here. Carl, for all his help. It's my family and friends. I needed this. I got a baby girl on the way. So it's a good night.
Yeah, I got the baby girl on the way. Great night here in the 2019 Desert Shootout. But you had to work for it there on that final lap. Had a lap car almost and make this first one not happen for you.
Yeah, after that red flag, something felt weird, and I had no power steering, so my legs are drenched in power steering fluid, but we held on. It's fine.
Yeah, definitely held on here tonight. Race fans, give it up one more time for the Ginger Ninja, Dustin Cormany.